Ahoy, dreamers! Puka here to remind you that this episode is the third and final part of our actual play trilogy, Story Told by Fetch, for Changeling the Dreaming's 30th anniversary. Once again, I've tried to resolve some audio issues in this recording, and once again, I urge you to go back and listen to the previous parts for context if you haven't already. It's been a wild ride. Hopefully, this trilogy has been an informative and interesting listen so far, and please enjoy the climactic scenes as they unfold shortly. Huzzah!
This is Changeling the Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to our third and final session of the Changeling actual play hosted by Changeling the Podcast. I'm very excited to have our three players back here with us. I'm Fetch, she, her. I will be your storyteller this evening, or if you're where I live, early in the morning. We're going to go down the lines and have Medi, Jay, and Elleris reintroduce ourselves one last time, and then we are going to jump into things. Medi, take us away.
I'm Eddie, and I'll be playing Thessania tonight. Thessania and Agrippina, whichever personalities in the forefront tonight. I don't want to go.
What are you looking forward to most this session?
All of our plans coming into fruition. That includes the storytellers.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Then we're on the same page. Jay, your turn.
I'm Jay, he, him, playing Lucas Green, the Cluricon Butler of House Baylor.
And what are you most excited about for today's session, Jay?
Less excited and more dreading the complications that I'm going to have to deal with just to get these two kids together. Like, come on, Dreaming. We know you love a good love story. Make it happen.
And Elleris.
Hello, I'm Elleris, playing Elleris, in a story about an unlicensed pigeon attorney. And what I am looking forward to most this session, I was thinking about it, and we have some, let's just say, reoccurring NPCs who mean a lot to me. And I'm excited to see and hopefully improve their lives by the end of the session here. Maybe get a little closure and resolution, and know that we've left the Dreaming in the Autumn world a better place for our efforts.
That is so sweet. Well, I have faith in you, and I do believe in being a fan of your players, and also there's a lot of good things I want to have happen. Especially because it's Pride Month and it's a queer love story. I want to see a happy ending to these things. Nevertheless, we have some travails ahead of ourselves. And speaking of travails, as promised, we did a little bit of downtime between last session and this session. I'm going to reintroduce the audience to the concept of that, and then summarize what we've done, and then get into the details, after which we'll jump into the session proper. So, downtime, when you are in between sessions, if you have a group that has the time and enthusiasm to want to do things that you just could not fit into a session, you can do downtime. That can cover roles for things that might take days or weeks to plan out, or even text-based side scenes where a single character has an interaction with an NPC that they want to talk with, but for whom the discussion might be irrelevant to the main game, or that might take up too much time, especially when you only have a limited amount of time, such as with this actual play that we are doing. During this downtime, we did have a few things happen. I revealed the plots of the various houses, went truly all out, and explained how every house has some interest in it, at least a sentence or two. My understanding is that this made Jay's head explode, but nevertheless, he soldiered on and decided that he would tackle this. Now, I've simplified it into a few basic problems. Some Fae do not want to see the two of them get together. There's others that see this as an excuse to get them out of power or kill the Thalain Shadow Courtiers and even some Unseelie who would be present. Because it turns out even Fae can be jerks.
That's like a key thing about Fae, is that, Fae are jerks. Have you looked at the folklore?
And finally, there are some that do want to see the two get together, although their motivations and exact plans for what they want that getting together to look like are obscure or strange. So, Jay, would you kindly tell us what you've managed to do about all of this during downtime, and then let me know whether there's any unresolved questions?
Okay, so I attempted to try and investigate House Aileel because I heard they were plotting.
House Aileel, the house best known for making plots, was indeed making a plot.
And I made a roll. I even used up all the XP that you gave us to give myself as many dice as I could. And them dice gods, they are fickle mistresses. Didn't go over as well as I'd hoped. So
You would have lost without that willpower.
yeah.
What did you use your XP for?
I used the XP to buy up 3 dots in investigation so that I could give myself a decent dice pool. Did not help me.
But as you were saying, I did give you a concession.
Yeah.
Technically, if you fail, maybe you can try again. However, I like to use a rule where you can instead elect to offer player success at a cost. You decided to go with that route. So tell them what you learned and what the consequences were.
So Lucas managed to uncover many of the plots and machinations being orchestrated. Unfortunately, that was all part of House Aileel's dastardly plans. And in the process of uncovering this information, he kind of got exposed a little bit. And his reputation's taken a bit of a hit. So now people are saying he's working against Lord Boleros. Even Boleros is starting to wonder, what the hell is he doing? It's going to make social encounters a little more difficult for Lucas this session.
To the tune of a +2 difficulty on social roles, often against
With nobles.
nobles, yes.
Yeah.
The idea being that your credibility is in the dumps at the moment. Everybody thinks the butler's been doing things behind his master's back. He's been looking at these other houses when this party's coming up. You just get caught at the absolute worst time.
But I managed to pick up a bunch of intel. Just got to try and figure out a way to use it.
Would you remind the group of the most salient points that you've learned and what you've done about it so far?
So apparently House Aileel has convinced the head of House Aeson that Thessania is getting into some kind of rushed marriage, and they're trying to convince him that he needs to whisk her away for her own good or something. House Beaumain and Scathach are plotting to murder any Thalain that shows up to this party before they can get inside. So if Laminia tries to crash this, she's going to have a hell of a surprise waiting for her. Not only is that the case, but our adorable little pack of toddler puka puppies, who used to be Thalain beasties, so now we got to make sure that they don't hurt these kids.
A few notes from the storyteller here. There is no system in the book for Thalain becoming Kithane, but I thought it was a neat thing to allow to happen, so it's something I decided. You can just do that sometime when you are a storyteller, especially if your group is loving the game. Second, despite what the threat itself is, I have no interest in seeing terrible things happen to a bunch of kids, so I fully expect to see the players being able to handle that situation.
Yeah.
And third, the views that are being espoused here by these characters, I decided that they are hardliners from those houses. They are people who are so deep in the sauce they cannot see how wrong it is to be doing what they are doing.
Yes.
So, with that in mind, please continue, Jay.
Then there's something about Ailil is whispering in the House Danan's ears. If things don't go a certain way, that this house that specializes in exploring the dreaming might drag our lords into the dreaming on a permanent basis.
To be clear, House Ailil is playing into Danan's fantasies, which involve you should explore the dreaming more.
Yeah.
Which is something that Radamanthus and Boleros might actually be interested in. Thus the complication that House Ailil is doing a Xanatos gambit. Whether you break them up or get them together, just about any route ends with House Ailil winning.
There are also those who are trying to use all of this to hurt the reputation of House Duran, who are hosting this party. House Gwydion and Varric have been warned about the idea of these two lords colluding and getting together, and that it must be stopped. House Fiona, I think they're the house that would want them to get together, but they want as much drama before they and as they can get, because they would find that fun.
Tangent. While Jay is going through a lot of things, I do not have plans to do 13 some individual
Yeah.
storylines on this. Players should not be expected to know all the houses. I just know that Jay is a huge nerd for the houses and lore of the game and world building. So this is fun for him, and it is fun for me.
Yeah. They're kind of whispering to House Leanhan, the glamour vampire house, that wouldn't it be nice if these two weren't in charge of the freehold anymore? And then they made sure houses Liam and Gwydion and Dougal were all kind of on the same side of, no, we don't want these two getting together for whatever reason.
It's one of those it just ain't right kind of. You can't have a Seelie and an unseelie getting together. That would be wrong, despite that I'm sure happening all the time.
Yeah. So, a lot of plots going on, which Lucas has shared with his co-conspirators. Unfortunately, getting that information has given his reputation a bit of a blow.
You did at least also manage to
Yeah.
convince Boleros to bring a larger escort.
Because of the threat to our children that we are watching over, I managed to convince Beleros to bring a few extra knights, just for the sake of safety. Hopefully these bloodthirsty types, when they see that, oh, there's a contingent of House Baylord knights and that surrounding these kids, hopefully they'll just be like, that we better not mess with that.
And Elleris, you have the pleasure of doing an actual downtime scene with Apollo, the former royal court magician for House Ilunid, Radamanthus's mentor, and also a mastermind of a previous plot to trick everybody into thinking that winter was coming because he was bored and thought it would be funny.
Yes.
How did that go for you?
Well, first was trying to locate precisely where Apollo was hiding. The walls and the floors, that is a very broad space, but barely managed to locate his present lair, den, room. It's a room.
He very specifically dressed it up to look like it was from the ending of the main scenes of Phantom of the Opera.
Apollo was elusive, not just physically, but verbally as well, but did offer some insight that at least confirmed that, yes, Boleros and Radamanthus enjoyed their prior adventures together, and Apollo had hoped apparently that they would continue, and that there's still they have a desire for them to continue. He shared some artwork, including poetry, of a much more substantial quality that Radamanthus had written prior to his ascension to title and duty and responsibility and grumpdom. I think there's ample evidence that Radamanthus was perhaps not just happier, but truer to himself at that time, before duty, obligation, And Leal's service forced him to kind of, adopt a different life. But that was all Apollo was really willing to offer, which was more than I was expecting, so I'm pleased with that. Elris did pitch the idea of trying to initiate a quest for Radamanthus, Beleros, and Luminia, only to have it revealed that that quest would, at the very least, necessitate a trip to the Far Dreaming. So that would be quite the epic undertaking at the very least, but maybe not entirely practical, but
It would not be something that I'd be interested in exploring during this adventure because we definitely would not have time for going through all of that. But it is a genuinely useful thing that you could toss out at them because adventuring deep into the dreaming was something that they used to do, and giving them something to do there would be pretty interesting to the three of them.
Yeah. But that is how essentially the conversation went. I think that about covers the salient points of it.
There's also the implication that Apollo has decided against showing up at the party to cause more problems himself. It seems like you've got that well in hand.
I've got it well in hand. Causing problems or solving problems?
Both.
Oh no.
Making it more interesting.
Have I just become the bargain version of Apollo? Is that all I've done?
I'm sorry, Elris. We're gonna have to put you down.
Oh my god!
Now, Medi, we didn't have time to get together to do anything in the way of roles or downtime scenes, but you did at least pitch a suggestion for how things would go.
Well, the idea was to also get Lamania to attend the party, but in a way that makes her think that it's her idea to crash the party. And to do so, we'll have to actively snub the Thalane from being invited to the party. So they don't necessarily have the opportunity to reject the invitation, and so that they will attend the party anyways in a fit of massive reverse psychology.
And so, indeed, she will be attending on that understanding. And I'm assuming that you've told the rest of your motley and, by extension, the burning feathers so that they don't freak out when the queen of the Thalane shows up and says, "Let me in."
Exactly. The Sanya will be waiting for them like out front, invitation in hand.
Excellent. Was there anything else you wanted to add to what your character was up to?
I don't believe so.
Cool.
Just a question for Thessane, yeah. Like I said, I shared everything I learned, so you know that there are going to be possibly forces that are going to want to go after Laminia if she shows up.
Yes, but if she's invited, then law hospitality.
Well, I think the idea is that even if she's been invited, until she gets into the Duran Freehold, they consider her fair game. Once she's in the Freehold, then all they can do is try to piss her off and get her to do something where that they can then justify to challenge them to a duel or something.
I think what we'll do is we'll begin by setting the scene at the Freehold itself and then jumping over to that conflict.
Yeah.
Now, as we get into the meat of things, I'd like to know about this place that the party's being held at for Midsummer slash Pride. Jay, you have, in a previous campaign, established a lot about this location. Tell us the most salient details that your fellow players, I, as a storyteller, the audience, and most importantly, the guests would notice as they are coming to the place and what they would see inside.
So on the autumn side of things, you would see what is known as Trovea Castle. Anyone from that neck of the woods would know this is an actual place, a castle-themed venue where they can hold like weddings and parties and all kinds of things. Within this castle, you find if you can see through the dreaming, through the mists, you can see a doorway that only changelings can see. And when you knock just right, and someone from the other side opens, You are welcomed through a doorway of flowers into a very beautiful, whimsical hotel. There is a front desk area with the banner of House Duran above the whoever's there to greet you. You turn and you enter a large common area where there's a beautiful round bar with seats all around it for people to have drinks or to order something from the kitchens below. And there's a stage on one side for when they have performances, and then some chairs and tables in between. And it is just a very, very comfortable place with a massive fireplace along the middle of the far wall, which is the balefire of this freehold, where changelings can, with the right permissions from the freeholders, acquire a bit of glamour while they stay here.
Sounds beautiful. Storyteller note: Trevaux Castle is a actual, real, honest to goodness place in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep.
For other storytellers who are looking for inspiration for their games, check out stuff about your local area. Google weird stuff, either literally that term or things that you'd be shocked to learn are real. You might be surprised. With that in mind, I'd like the players to take opportunity to expand upon how this has been decorated for Midsummer and Pride.
I'd like to go ahead. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think both as a means of decoration and as a thank you for the graceful hosting of this event in this beautiful, resplendent locale in the near dreaming, Elris would have gathered some of the students and pupils that maybe he's been teaching some of the arts to, helping coach along, and would have instructed them to cast multiple usage of the cantrip Flicker Flies. It's a summer one, which makes soft colors, and he will have those in the colors of the rainbow, festooned along like the crown molding in rooms along the hallways and windows, so it looks like a celebration of lights.
Aw. Are these all just bright, warm, ambient LED white lights, or is it different than that?
So the way I've kind of envisioned Flicker Flies and the way I think it is kind of described is it is like a warm, soft light. However, the color is up to the choice of the caster. So they can be arranged or decorated however the user of the cantrip sees fit.
I am definitely saying that a lot of them have chosen to go for Pride colors.
100%.
Cool. So there is a colorful, literal rainbow of colors across the area, both general pride and for the various queer identities that people might express. Excellent detail, Elris. What else do we have?
I'm thinking there's a lot of pride-themed liquor. I mean, there definitely has to be a champagne fountain of multiple colors.
So this is magical liquor that just happens to be like pride colored.
Yes.
Rad.
So it's like rainbow whiskey.
Yeah, I was just more thinking like champagne colors that literally changes to particular queer flag colors, but
I love the idea that I could pick up a glass of seemingly ordinary champagne and it immediately turns the trans flag colors.
yes.
Excellent.
And of course, there would be banners and flags for Pride Month decorating the place. But this is also a family event, so the inside of the hotel is kind of being used for the adults. And then the children who come are led through and out into a back outdoor garden area with all kinds of like trees and plants and flowers. There's even a little hedge maze, and that back area has been turned into just an incredible playground full of toys and treats and sweets and all kinds of things so that the children who attend can have a wonderful time while also giving the adults some privacy and, so that they don't feel like they have to act a certain way because there's kids here.
Well, I have great news because all of the children make it in safely. When Boleros comes with his limo, he has you, he's got Kane and Bruce, the femboy Boggin twins. He has all the little kids with him, along with several others that are not Kithane, When your vehicle heads out, it is accompanied by a couple of others with Fey Knights in them. And the main vehicle itself also has this tall, very classic dark green skinned troll sitting in it who is tapping his boots the whole time. You know Dent is the banner troll for House Baylor in this area. And his thing is, he wears iron shod boots and he does not mind using them to stomp on people.
I'm probably the one driving the limo.
Excellent. Your vehicle is eventually accompanied by an escort of a couple of other cars that are flying the flags of House Scothotch and Bumane. You feel them checking you out, but they do not do anything. They just turn it into making it seem like, oh yeah, obviously we were just here to escort you and make sure that you get there fine because it's so dangerous. You never know who might be out there. Would hate to see anything happen to you. You want to take any detours? No? Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. No worries. You can almost hear them swearing inside their cars.
Do I get the feeling that they're like not going to pull anything now that they see what we've got, or?
Oh yeah, you feel that between like the point when the window rolls down and there's the banner troll there, and also that there's a couple of other vehicles from the Bolero's house accompanying them, they get the vibe that trying to knock your car off the road is going to end very badly for them.
I think Lucas, looking through the window and seeing them, just has like a little half grin and just nods at them knowingly.
I think you're the one who has to actually point out a couple times to the other escorts that what's going on.
Yeah, we probably have walkie-talkies or something.
Boleros calls out from the back, saying, "Is everything okay, Lucas?"
Under control, my lord. Just a few people saying hello as they pass by.
All the kids in the car are like, "Oh, we want to say hello too, hi," and they keep going towards the windows, which you must absolutely keep child locked or they will definitely
Yeah.
pull them down.
Oh yeah. But they can probably see them behind the windows.
The kids, for the most part, do not seem to realize that there's anything unusual going on. You see the Fae in the other vehicles trying their hardest not to scowl at your group and their plans having been stymied. You reach the party successfully, step out of the vehicle, and walk into the castle without any issue. The quote-unquote escort from Bumane and Scothotch will not follow you in immediately. You are sure, Lucas, they have something else on their mind.
Mm-mm.
The best compliment that Boleros pays you at the moment is, well, I suppose you were right this time.
I do my best to serve you, sir. Sometimes I misstep, but it's always in your best interests.
Don't worry about it. Let's just get this party out of the way.
I hear Lady Purcell is catering.
Really, I had no idea. Her meals are absolutely delicious.
Yes, that should make it worth it by itself, so.
You should have opened up with that. It could have made up entirely for your recent errors.
I'll keep that in mind, sir. Right this way, and I hold the door for him.
He walks in with a gaggle of kids behind him. I'd like to switch over to the other two players and ask them how they are making their entrance. We'll start with Elris because yours sounds like it's going to be relatively standard, and then go over to Medi because my understanding is that Thesania is doing things a little bit differently given what her plans are.
Yeah, I think Elris would have arrived a little early to help coordinate the cantrip casting. Interestingly, I think the method of his arrival that would have been most notable is that he would have shown up with his dreamer, who he absolutely cannot in any way get to stay out of dangerous situations, despite his best and earnest efforts. But he also needed a ride, and Danny can drive, and he can't. So, you gotta take what you can get.
Yes, this charming green-haired girl who is constantly playing with your feathered hair and giving you hugs. If Elorus had any concern for his own dignity, he'll have to give up on that wall in Danny's presence.
Does Eller see the gaggle of children entering?
Oh, yes, you do.
Then you know what? I'm going to pull the pin and toss one at Danny here. Because Danny is a fairly well-known children's author. And so Elleris is just going to point and go, look, everyone, it's pre-book signings. Do you remember the book about the pigeon and the bus? I helped write that.
All the kids turn to look at Danny. She looks down at you and says, I know exactly what you're doing. Before a mob of children come rushing up to her and begin asking her questions about whether it's true and how did that pigeon get out of this situation and did all of it happen and what about the other books, are they true too, and does she actually do all of her own illustrations, and this is going to go on for some time.
Elleris will simply silently but smugly adjust the color of his. He's wearing like traditional wizard robes, like something you would pick up at a costume store, including an oversized hat that he currently is holding in one of his hands. And he'll just give an innocent, like, little wave at Danny, and he'll remain nearby. But for now, he can safely get back to making sure the colors and the lighting is all fixed for the guest of honor's arrival.
Excellent. And Thessania or Agrippina?
She'll be showing up as Agrippina, dressed up in some fancy princess sort of dress, like pure white. But I guess it's sort of designed to be more suited to whichever, I guess, legacy is up in front at the moment.
So her outfit changes with her legacy?
Yep.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, and she has a chimera and like a piece of equipment that's had a heart spun sundress. So you kind of reflects on whatever is in the heart. So right now it's just princess.
Aww. Now, importantly, you had mentioned to me out of character that you wanted to be there when Laminia showed up. But where is there going to be? Are you waiting in the mortal side of the castle, or...
She's waiting out front. She knows the Fey penchant for dramatic entrances. Just sneaking in from the back is definitely not something a diabolical evil moth queen would actually do.
Imagine Luminia just turning herself into like an itty-bitty moth and trying to flutter in without anybody noticing. Okay, so you are in the autumn world outside of the building. While you are there, you notice that there are several other changelings milling about. They are, to a one, she or trolls. They are carrying weapons and wearing the livery of houses Bumain or Scapa. They're just mostly making conversation, though it's impossible for them to not have noticed your presence. None of them say anything. You know that your father has not yet arrived, and also Luminia is not here yet either. Do you do anything in the meantime?
Probably, take care of, I guess, staff. I guess they're changing the meaning about our busy staff, aren't they?
Medi, would you give me a wits plus empathy roll to get a vibe on what they are here for? I'm going to call this difficulty 5 because you've had a chance to learn about and expect issues. You can also roll politics instead of empathy if that is higher.
3 successes?
3 successes. Okay. Agrippina, you realize that you're not the only one awaiting Lominia. These are certainly the assassins from House Bumain and Scafach that you have heard about. They're just trying to keep up chill appearances, act like either security or taking a break. And they're also trying to not catch your attention, probably because you're a well-known princess.
I think she'll make conversation in the most casual, innocent sort of way because she currently just looks completely innocent and naive.
Okay. Are you just trying to make it so that they're going to, like, allow you to be right next to them, or are you trying to actually accomplish something beyond that?
Get them below the guards
Okay.
with plenty of booze spiked into their drinks.
Booze. Okay. Trying to placate them with libations. I'm just going to factor this into the role. They're on guard for people messing with them, and they know how important this is. I'm going to say that it's a difficulty 8 roll to distract them well enough that when other people show up, that you are not going to have to worry. You will be able to take the first action. A failure just means that they manage to keep track of what's going on.
Okay, what sort of role should I be making?
Oh, I'd say manipulation plus subterfuge.
Okay, that's 6 pool plus a heartspun sundress. That's be an 8.
Still an excellent dice pool. But also, you said 8, right?
Yep.
There is a rule, little known, called automatic success. If your dice pool is equal to or greater than the difficulty given, and it's a simple roll, you can just choose to take an automatic success, which means that it just succeeds with 1 success. No flair, but a marginal success is still a success.
Go with a bit more flair.
Okay, best of luck to you then. Hetty, look at that! That is some flair. 4 successes. You pull them into this conversation. House Skaha and House Bumane are actually both Seelie, even if Skaha is just nominally so. So they seem mostly concerned with the princess, and now that she's got their attention, they can't turn her down, and you ask them questions and make conversation with them, and they try to get you to beg off at first by warning you that it's dangerous or encouraging you to go enjoy the party, saying that there's unseemly elements out and about, but how do you manage to keep yourself as part of the conversation?
Just going to be that annoying, sort of asking a lot of questions and flattery as well. Trying to be good company to be around. It probably helps that throughout this whole process, she is fulfilling her unseelie legacy's quest of convincing others to do something that they oppose and make them enjoy it.
Excellent. I love it. After a little bit of time, a vehicle pulls up and everybody turns to take a look and notice because it is a limousine being driven by a man in a finely tailored suit who has a lantern for a head. This is Yariho, a Dullahan. Dullahan are a fan-made kith. They are the classic headless horseman type, and they have their own fan book. You know this to be the older brother of your beloved Jericho, and if he is driving his vehicle, that would mean that, yes, stepping out of that limousine along with his escort, including the tall and mighty Alexander, is your father, who is now approaching. You realize that if he sees you here, he's going to try to pull you into the party. What do you do?
Well, shoot. She just chooses, this time to just conveniently vanish, kind of disappear in the crowd, using the rapport she's just been building with them. Just don't keep a secret, will you, please?
So no magic, just relying upon the rapport that you've built up with them. Interesting move.
She's very much playing into that rebellious princess thing that's been very popular lately.
Okay, I think I'm going to let you pick a social attribute and combine it with stealth to avoid notice. Normally, I would say that it is difficulty 8 because your father and his guard are heavily on lookout for things going wrong, but I feel like you've made such a good impression with your 4 successes that they don't mind covering for you a bit, so I'm going to lower it down to difficulty 7.
I have no stealth, and I must scream.
Without stealth, that increases your difficulty back up to 8.
Oof.
But you do have a pretty good set of social attributes.
7 in appearance, so.
I must let you know that because you are using a skill that you do not have any background in, that you must roll at a +1 difficulty, so you're back up to difficulty 8.
Okay.
Ah!
Dear Lord.
Ugh.
9, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10.
Would you
Jesus
kindly tell
Christ.
the audience how many successes you got?
8. I call it the tactical moth escape.
Okay.
Jesus.
It's a very effective maneuver. Okay, for audience reference, I could have instead chosen to make this an opposed roll and said, hey, Alexander and the other bodyguards are looking for someone, but I felt like in this case, just a straight difficulty made more sense. So Agrippina is able to, keep up appearances, work herself into the group, hide behind people, know when to stand, how to even make subtle adjusts to her voile to keep from being noticed by her father and his entourage. They walk into the party just as both Elorus and Lucas are beginning to wonder where Thessania is. They are greeted with much cheer and joy from those who are gathered. Everybody's excited. By now, Danny has gone to the backyard with the kids, some of whom are running off to get lost in the hedge maze or play tag, others who are sitting and want to have story time. What are the two of you doing? You now know that everybody is here except for Lominia, and you know that Sonia is waiting outside.
Okay. When Lucas came in with Valeros, he would have probably shown him to the private table that he arranged for him.
Okay.
Made sure he was set up and comfortable, and then that was probably when he signaled to the Jaegers that he was going to keep an eye on Valeros, and then he would probably, as you said, start wondering where Thessania was, and then see Radamanthus come in, go over and give him a little bow. Hello, Lord Radamanthus. Pleasure to see you again.
There's a long moment before he says anything. He is not shuddering or weeping. His hair is finally done. Somebody must have dressed this man and done his grooming for him today, for you still see the hint of wild madness deep in the back of his eyes as he says, Squire Lucas,
My lord.
thank you again for helping to arrange things.
Of course.
Then something flashes in his eyes, and he looks to Alexander. He says, I understand that you consider yourself to be something of a martial artist.
Spent some time as a professional boxer in my younger days. Did fairly well, if I do say so myself.
Radamanthus smiles. Alexander, seeing his cue, says, and I am given to understand that there is a dueling arena here for just such an event.
Indeed. There's just a small but slightly wicked grin on Lucas's face as he says that would be most enjoyable. I would look forward to that.
One of the members of the brightly liveried House Vienna shouts, hey, why wait? Just go do it right now! Fight! 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 They start a chant.
Now all things in the proper order. Lord Radamanthus, I made a promise to you, and if you'll follow me, I can fulfill that promise.
Out of character, which promise are you referring to?
That Valeros would be here.
Give me a difficulty 9 check to convince him to go along with this and to delay the battle.
What am I rolling? Charisma?
Etiquette is probably the most appropriate one.
Okay, I got good etiquette. All right. Diff 8, you said?
Diff 9, unfortunately. Yeah, there's high moods here at Midsummer, and
one success.
That is all you need. Beautiful. You convince Radamanthus to hold off the fight for now and say, well, I could find my way to my own table, but this is midsummer. This is a day for Celia and I decide what happens. I think first I would rather see Boleros before any fights to begin, so that I might not miss it. As you wish, my lord.
Of course, sir. Whatever you wish. And I'll just kind of gesture, as butlers do, and lead him over to Belarus's private table.
You get some side eyes from House Varick and Gwydion She, who do not like this. They do not like the sparkle they see in both men's eyes as they come to sit beneath the table and the dancing lines. They do not like the way they clink their colorful champagne glasses together and drink and immediately strike up an easy conversation. Elris, you tell me what you are up to.
I would say that Elorus, being a member of House Lunid, would attend to Radamanthus when he sees his arrival, asking him if he approves of the decor and how he's feeling since, the last time they met, he was in a bit of a dour mood.
I says he's feeling fine. Give me a difficulty 4 empathy check, please. Empathy or subterfuge, plus wits.
Wits and... You said this is difficulty 4?
Yes, he's not doing a great job of hiding his emotions right now.
Alright, well, let's see.
Cool. 3 successes. He says he's doing fine, but yeah, you are certain that the people around him are handlers who are doing everything to help him keep up appearances, to keep him perfectly styled, talk him out of making bad decisions or showing too much emotion. And you are also sure that part of this is a Gwydion thing. After all, they don't want him going wild and showing too much emotion. They've been whispering in his ear about how he needs to put on a good show at Midsummer. It's perhaps an absurd notion given this a time for emotions to run wild, but having him indulge in emotions, especially the ones he begins to show when he's at Boleros' table, unacceptable. He is on a hair trigger, and you are sure that he is easy to manipulate to any kind of emotional outburst.
Let me ask if my 3 successes would have garnered this information, or maybe some clarity on it. So I get the feeling that Radamanthus's handlers are attempting to keep him constrained, demure, to deny what he wants in favor of the greater, political well-being of the houses and the Sealy court.
Yes, he has to put his responsibilities and concern of the freehold before himself, and that means doing everything that they say. Has he not considered how dangerous his reputation has been recently? He needs to be conservative and quiet and formal and restrained and the most Sealy he can be. Otherwise, who knows what might happen in those dark, unseelie months.
Ellerus is going to make a show of doffing that oversized wizard's hat he's wearing, and he'll look up at Radamanthus and say, "My lord, I know things have been unsettled lately, but I, as your high court wizard, have taken it upon myself to make you a great treasure to aid you in these times of need. If you could just kind of kneel down here, I've got it in my sleeve somewhere."
He's seated at this point, so he leans over to look in your sleeves.
Ellerus is going to hand him 2 things. One is a obviously fake toy wand that's just got a star on the end of it. It has the words Fun Express, the brand on the side, but
Incredible.
folded along the handle, attached to it with just a bit of twine, are some of the poems that Apollo gave him earlier that he's selected. And
Ooh.
as Rhadamanthus leads in, Ellerus is going to look at him, and in a face that is unusually serious for probably any puka, but especially this childling, he is just going to whisper 3 words: love conquers all.
Beautiful.
The Sealy Code.
Damn. Okay. Gotta ask you, are you doing any kind of magic here, or are you simply trying to get him to let go?
No magic. No, there's no cantrip, no bunk. Ellerus legitimately wants him to be happy. He wants him to be true to himself. I think, ironically, from Ellerus' perspective, he did not understand Rhadamanthus when he first met him, and perhaps he still doesn't to a large extent. But I'd say working with him, being around him, being involved in the court, he understands him more and what he's sacrificed and given up, and sincerely believes that he and Beleros and Laminia, if they're happy together, they should be together.
I feel like this is a trivial difficulty. I'm going to call it difficulty 3 for you to play off of his highly emotional state with that beautiful description of what you've brought with him that would certainly catch his attention. It is technically going to be opposed by a gaggle of House Gwydion courtiers who try to distract him from the toy or pull his attention back towards something else that is not really important. They are pretty good at this. I'm going to say they have 8 dice against a difficulty of 6. Your roll feels to me like manipulation plus empathy against a difficulty of 3.
I'm going to burn a willpower on this.
Okay.
I feel like it's very important.
5 successes. Rhadamanthus, annoyed at his courtiers, dismisses them, saying in a fit of pique, "All of you, leave me and go enjoy the party. I'm trying to have a private conversation." They reluctantly get up, frowning at the toy that he's holding. They notice the way that Bolero smiles at seeing the poem, and they walk off. As they do so, a couple of other guests are arriving. Agrippina, Thessania, your attention is caught by the beautiful moth lady who is approaching the castle. Lucas or Elris, either of you can pop in at any point if necessary. Lucas first. But we're going to start by trying to see how Thessania resolves this situation. The 2 people approaching. One of them is a beautiful woman with moth-like features, including a pair of antennae. She has multiple arms and is dressed quite fluffily. The sclera of her eyes is completely black, and the irises are green. She is carrying a fluffy little moth thing, maybe? It looks completely innocuous and appears to be sleeping in her arms. This is Luminia. She is accompanied by a person with multiple eyes, dressed in a fanciful robe, beautiful strawberry red hair, and a pair of fangs. This is Argent, they, them, who is basically a priest of the Thalane. As they are approaching, the folks from Bumain and Skaha, they will take notice, but I did promise you, Medi, that your character could act before they have a chance to notice this because you keep them so distracted. What do you do?
Acting like she's been invited the whole time. Yeah. Catch everybody off guard.
Okay.
Oh, hello, Laminia. Great to see you. Probably before they even register that. Probably just leads her mother in through the threshold.
She quirks an eyebrow as you refer to her as Luminia, and says, loud enough for the others gathered to hear, "I believe you should call me Mother, dear."
Oh, right. Mother, it's good to see you. I trust you received the lack of invitation.
I certainly have. I was quite insulted to not be invited to this celebration. From what I've heard, it's practically open to the entirety of the city.
Yes.
Even disreputable elements are here. She gives a pointed look at the knights who are becoming increasingly incensed.
Why don't we step through here? Avoid the whole kerfuffle that would ensue. And I mean, would you have come if you did receive the invitation?
The fluffy little moth in her arms growls and shows a row of fangs as several of the knights approach, forming a line. One of them saying, "We need to check them for weapons." Argent, the spider priest, says, "I assure you there's no need for that. We come unarmed and in peace, even if we are uninvited." Princess, will you please stand out of the way? This is for your security as much as everyone else's.
It's perfectly fine. They're technically invited.
Everybody blinks, and Lucas is suddenly standing next to Agrippina.
Lucas, you appear there just as Luminia is saying, "Oh, I would certainly love them to get a little closer uninvited. Kubert is rather hungry." One of her extra free arms pets the fluffy moth in her arms. And then Lucas.
I'll just say, as she is a guest of Lady Agrippina, she is under the same hospitality as everyone else, and I don't recall any of your people being frisked when they came in.
A naive princess and a butler of questionable repute and unseelie nature do not bode well for reputation. I would like to see a etiquette check from one of you, manipulation plus etiquette. This will be only difficulty 5, given that you are now showing numbers against them. You do have them on the back foot.
I've got a 9 pool.
You got more dice than I do for that, so go ahead.
9 dice against difficulty 5. 3 successes. There's a moment when you're staring each other down, very politely. Eventually, one of the knights says, "Well, we wouldn't want to cause a scene, would we? I suppose we should be going off into the party." They step past you and go into the castle. Laminia says, "Well, that was certainly fun. Is this really what counts for security these days? Truly the Freehold's fallen upon hard times since I had a say."
No, it's usually a lot more tighter. Had to pull a lot of strings. And of course, people just seem to really underestimate the naive princess these days, as she's just about ready to trigger back to Lasagna.
Oh, yes, being underestimated is a fine hallmark of success. I suppose you do take after your mother. Argent goes, "Yes, I do believe that we should go inside rather than waiting out here for other people to cause problems. Seems like a poor time to restart old wars."
As we're walking in, Lucas will say, kind of over his shoulder, "You will enjoy the same hospitality and protections as anyone else. However, you will be expected to abide by the same laws of hospitality. And you understand what it means to break such laws under the roof of House Duran, I trust."
Please, I've been to enough courtly functions amongst the Cathane that I know them like the back of my hands. I don't need you telling me how to be on my best behavior.
And as he gets the door and holds it open for them, he just finishes with, "They'll likely try to anger you and instigate a problem. I trust you will be able to withstand their insults."
Argent nods and says, "It's commonplace for us to deal with these. You would be shocked how many of the people who insult us to our faces are the same ones who come running to my cathedral when they have a crisis of personal faith."
Very well. Once they're inside, I step in behind them and I'll use my twinkling of an eye to suddenly appear next to Boleros and Radamanthus and just kind of give them a heads up.
They are deeply engaged in conversation, talking about the good old days, much to the disdain of several knights who are watching with increasingly fury at this happening, but also some, like the Linhan and the Danon, who are like, ah, so happy about it.
Yeah. I just kind of appear next to Boleros and I whisper into his ear, just so you know, Sire, Laminia has arrived.
He shudders and says, "What on earth is she doing here?"
Apparently she decided to crash the festivities.
Boleros reaches out and places a hand on Radamanthus's shoulder and says, "It'll be fine. She won't pull anything at the party, I'm sure." This does not reassure me. This is opening old wounds. I don't feel good. Radamanthus, it's fine. I feel the same way. It's been a long time since I've seen her, and since she left the freehold. I rather she not be here either, but we can face her together. At this point, the Fiona are gathering once again, the chant for fighting, and you feel that the compulsion for this is just as strong and being renewed. It's been long enough that people are getting agitated just in general,
Yeah.
and the mood is leading towards that.
Okay. I'll turn to Boleros. It seems the time may have come for a little tournament that we arranged, and I'll wave to the Jaegers to come over, and I'm sure they can help you with anything until I return.
The Boggin maids show up all cheery and say, "Yes, of course, we'd be happy to do something about this." One of them looks back at you quietly, Lucas, and says, "Don't fuck anything up. Don't fuck anything up again or you are so dead." And then turns back and goes, "We're gonna do our best."
Ooh. Alrighty then. I'll get the hotel staff to set up a little boxing ring on the stage, and I'll start getting ready for that. And I'll kind of gesture to Eldoris to take it from here, because I'm going to be busy.
Elris, what are you up to right now? Out in the hedge, you hear a puppy puka going, "The maze is like an analogy for the soul. It twists in upon itself, full of dead ends and unexpected changes, ways that we lose ourselves until we reach the heart."
Petals that you, there's mint chocolate chip ice cream.
I'm lost!
Oh no. Elris is going to cheat, but in good spirit, and just kind of fly over the maze and look down in it.
Yes, you see the little puka puppy squire with the livery of House Darien and the signature pink divot in his hair from which his name comes, looking around confused. He's deep in this maze, and also quite small.
Quick question. I'm guessing Lucas would have mentioned the prospective threats from House Bumain or Skatak that they wanted
Yes.
to. Yeah.
Okay. I filled both of you in because with my reputation bashed right now, you two would have a better chance dealing with stuff sometimes.
In that case, time to recruit some help. Petal, can I get your help as a knight trained and spurred?
I am the most noble of knights. I have earned my spurs. This may be a way of a cowboy, but yet our cowboys not knights in their own fashion.
I understood most of that.
Some of this is a lie based upon discrepancies and historical untruths. One should be cautious about equating one place with another simply due to vague similarities.
Do you like chocolate syrup on your ice cream?
He nods excitedly.
Okay. All right. Well, tell you what. Here's the thing. Help me keep a lookout, because a leprechaun told me that some of the grumps here may not be happy that all the kids got together I don't know, probably because they had to pay taxes or some limb of theirs hurts or something like you know how they get. If you see any of them acting especially grumpy, come and tell me right away.
Hmm. I think I can manage that. I'll be sure to do that before I discover their true names and work my way into their heart, find their very soul, and change it so fundamentally that by the time I'm done with them, they no longer understand who they are.
Elris just kind of shrugs and realizes that, whoever crosses Petal, he's done what he can. Their fate is not in his hands. The two will have mercy on them.
Alright, you head back on in, and as you are doing so, you catch sight of Agrippina slash Visania being pulled into a difficult conversation as she is being accompanied by Luminia and Argent. But also, her father and Boleros are getting up and approaching the ring from the opposite side. You see that Rhadamanthus is gesturing at Agrippina. Daughter, come here. We wouldn't want to miss the show. Laminia places a hand on your shoulder and say, You have all the time you wish with your father, and we barely meet. I would much rather have your presence, my dear.
I don't suppose we could all go watch the show now.
You want to convince them to all sit together.
Yes.
Just get my divorced parents and my father's new boyfriend together. Yes, that's lovely.
Yes, it's the ultimate end game of a knave.
Okay, I'm going to say the base difficulty of this is 9 because they hate each other, have a lot of social pressure. There's courtiers here trying to keep them apart, and they all want you. They are just the most divorced of parents right now. If you or your fellow players can tell me how either the ambiance of the area, like the literal mechanics of the freehold, or your role playing, or other factors might decrease the difficulty, I will allow it. I will also allow teamwork between the three of you. If you succeed on this one, you get all three of them to sit together with you.
Okay.
Base difficulty 9, is there anything that would reduce the difficulty?
I just dropped the whole bit about you. I've been told that the three of you used to adventure together. So curious about that. I should probably note that Agrippina right now is Thessania. So, being very much the unseelie moth girl at the moment.
Medi, I'm going to say that lowers the difficulty but increases the stakes. It goes down to difficulty 8, but if you fail, then they are going to be arguing with each other right now.
Oof.
I don't know which one I want more.
Jay, do you have anything that would decrease the difficulty? Or is there anything about the burning feather that would?
Oh, are they considered freeholders because they're in it? Or is that just the person who owns it?
My understanding is that it's the person who owns it.
Okay, so that doesn't apply then. No, I got nothing. Lucas is getting ready for a boxing match, so he can't really get involved in this part right now.
That's fair. Elleris, can you think of anything that might help?
I might. I'm reading just to make sure.
You'll be happy to know that we since replaced the court magician. Would you like to meet our new one?
What? Whatever happened to Apollo?
He's in the walls now. She says that with no further elaboration. It makes it sound like, something happened to him.
This is the first time that Luminia looks actually off guard. Not silly, but she just doesn't know what to say. Clearly, whatever she thinks of Apollo, this is not an expected turn of events. Elleris, I am going to say the most obvious is that with Flicker Flies enhancing the mood, that it reduces the difficulty by another 1.
Oh, that would work. I also had the idea of casting Aphrodisia on the seats themselves to make them look like particularly enticing, but
That can be done to further help.
oh boy. I don't.
It's down to difficulty 7, and this is one of the most important roles. This may be the most important role you make in the game.
Okay. All right. He's gonna run back out to where the kids are, like real quick, and is going to go around to every single one of the childlings he can find and ask if any of them have any like summer school assignments, summer reading, any old homework, anything like that.
Title is happy to unload everything that he has on you, and Axe says that she needs a lot of help. The little BC boys say that a dog ate their homework, so, they don't need any help there.
That's a good answer. And a pigeon's about to eat yours, and Ellers is just going to rip it all up. It is high summer. Now's not the time for homework.
The kids are gleeful. That's adorable, and I wasn't expecting it. I'm not sure how this... I feel like you're saying that the general energy of this ties into Aphrodisia. Just, you're carrying those vibes when you go back in to cast the spell. Is that what you're doing?
That is ironically one of the example bunks is rip up old homework for summer.
Sure. It seems a little odd for how I understand Aphrodisia, but go for it. -3 difficulty.
Okay.
Also, another -1 because you are in a freehold. So you're down to difficulty 4, I believe.
I actually just thought of something that Lucas might be able to do on his way to the...
Okay.
Because I'm being a clericon, I've got another birthright. Fighting words. I know just what to say to make my target throw the first punch. And it doesn't have to be against me, it can be against someone else. And what I'm thinking is, when I'm walking past, if I can suddenly know what to say to get some of these guys that are conspiring against us to suddenly turn on each other for a moment.
Ooh, that's pretty clever. I think that's a reasonable thing to have come up in the situation. They are, of course, suspicious of your fighting words.
They can make a difficulty 8 willpower check to resist.
Got it. I'm going to reduce that to difficulty 6 because, again, they are suspicious of you.
Yeah, my reputation's taking a hit.
Yeah, but I'll just roll 4 dice for them. Make it simple.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be physical punch. It just get them arguing with each other and turning on each other. Although if they want to throw a punch and incur Duran's wrath...
They do succeed in resisting that.
I tried.
Yeah, they turn away, complaining about Clericon tricks all the while, and telling him to mind his own fights.
I tried to help, guys.
Elris, are you ready to do your casting?
I did the cast. There is an important caveat that I feel I should bring up about Aphrodisia, and that is it does specifically state that while it can be cast on objects, and it does indeed make the object desirable, whatever it is depending on the realm, I think the wording states that it only affects those with less willpower than the number of successes for the cantrip. So I don't think it's going to affect anyone.
I'm guessing you were not aware of that caveat when you were doing the roll for it?
I was, but I thought I'd go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay. That is...
Some satyr suddenly becomes infatuated with it.
I mean, there's a potential, but even childlings have 4 willpower.
For the sake of pacing and in the interest of keeping things interesting, I'll reduce the difficulty by 1 more point, so it's down to difficulty 6. Medi, at this point, I feel like you could give me an etiquette, empathy, or subterfuge roll to convince them to all sit together.
Okay, etiquette and...
Manipulation, certainly.
Going to use willpower for this.
Good idea.
Yep. And difficulty, what was it?
6.
6, okay. And... Oop. What?
Oh, Medi!
Wow.
1 success. That willpower saved your bacon.
Yeah.
You barely pull this out. The 3 of them are staring at each other. You're trying to talk very politely with which ability was it?
Etiquette.
Etiquette. Very politely convince them to all sit with each other, and they're not going to do it. You just know it's not working. But then the lights change a little bit. Their eyes flicker over to the seat. They consider the gathered sentiment and the eager looks of some house members who do actually want this. And then back at you. Luminia is the first to speak. The fight is about to start. I don't really see the point in us continuing to litigate this right now. Valerius goes, I'll do it if you're really okay with it, Adamathus. Medi, Thessania actually hears a little, petulant whine coming from Radamanthus as he goes, yeah, yes, it'll be fine.
Yeah, she just looks over. Don't worry, we've got this. I've got this.
Fine. Fine. Seats for all four of us then, together.
Yeah, and I'm thinking she's gonna have Radamanthus and Veloz just sit together, and she's gonna be between Lomania and Radamanthus, like on the left. So, mother gets a bit of time with very much estranged daughter, and daughter gets time with boyfriend.
The four of you sit down together. Gasps and gossip spread across the room. And as we gather in the fighting ring, a member of House Fiona comes up to you and Alexander, who is towering over the Cluricon. Member of House Fiona says, all right, I want a clean fight, but also an awesome fight. So, combat arts on the table, but no prep for it. You gotta be ready to do it when it comes in. No dirty tricks, no just freezing, turning back time so the fight didn't happen, or other existential crises. I want to see sword swinging. I want to see some punching going on. Maybe a little bit of blood. We're going to call it after 3 rounds of this, or when either of you want to call it off. Whichever comes first. Beyond that, have fun. What do you equip?
Okay, well, Lucas is already wearing a concealed Kevlar vest, which gives him a little extra protection. And if this guy is going to go bare fist, then I'll go bare fist. But if he's going to use a weapon...
Oh, he's pulling out a weapon.
He's pulling a weapon? Okay. From a pocket, Lucas takes out his Fang Fist Knuckle Duster.
Remind us what the special property is of your knuckle dusters.
They're basically just a chimerical weapon.
All right.
Chimerical knuckle duster, which looks like it's carved from the bone of some kind of crazy creature and has like fangs coming off where each of his knuckles are.
Alexander tosses away the cloak that he usually gathers himself in, revealing a full suit of she plate armor covering him head to toe. He brings his arms down, and in his left hand manifests a massive shield, and in his right hand an impossibly long sword that he should not be able to carry one-handed, and yet does so with great ease. So to your audience, we are going to demonstrate how combat works. And yes, we will be using reverse declarative initiative. Lucas, you stepped into the ring. You are up against a very heavily armored opponent. We open up by having the two of you roll initiative. Now, Alexander actually normally has a very good initiative. He's surprisingly fast for somebody who is so big and pretty good at spotting threats. However, he is weighed down by all of his gear that he is carrying, and so he's taking a -3 penalty from his shield and the plate armor that he is wearing. His pool for initiative drops from a d10 plus 6 to a d10 plus 3. So we are both just going to roll 1d10, and you're going to add your dexterity and wits to this.
Okay.
So he only got a 6 on his first maneuver. You, however, got a 16. This means that you go first. However, he has to declare his action, which means that you can do things that are going to take advantage of that. So I'll declare, and then you're going to declare.
Okay.
Alexander holds his sword and shield out in front of him, and he recites his oaths to House Ulinid. As he does so, you see power whirling up around him in a physical manifestation. Rather than do anything to attack you, he is simply casting a cantrip, which means, incidentally, that if you attack him, he cannot defend, but you will have a ton of soap to deal with.
Yeah.
So that is all I'm declaring for his action. He is performing a cantrip. What are you doing on your turn?
So I am also going to use a cantrip, but this cantrip comes from the 2-dot treasure, my quick step cufflinks, which have Wayfare 2, the Quicksilver cantrip.
All right, then you get to go first for activating your Quicksilver cantrip. Your base difficulty is 7 because you are inside of a freehold.
So Lucas would, he's basically like stretching out his arms and legs the way you do before you do like a track and field event or something, limbering himself up for these quick movements he's about to do.
So just take a -1. So you're down to a difficulty of 6.
Okay, and this is being done to me, which means it's the 2 dots of my treasure plus my 3 dots in Fey.
If you would say that activating the treasure is employing its usual function, then you do a mundane action to activate it. If you feel that it's a purely magical effect, then it might be your character's glamour rating, or it might be intelligence plus Grimaire.
I mean, given I was saying, like, he was limbering himself up, so probably like a Dex Athletics kind of a thing.
Cool, go for it.
Alright. I'll burn a will just because...
Oh, you really want those extra turns, don't you?
Yeah. Woo!
I think
1,
that's
2,
all
3,
successes.
4, 5, 6, 7 with willpower.
Okay, on his turn, he is casting his cantrip. He is using the level 5 Dragon's Ire, tripping the ire. Reciting his oath, I'm going to say that's a -1 to his difficulty for activating this. Obviously, he has got 5 dots in the art to be able to do this in the first place. And for Faye, I would say that he's... Okay, I'm going to say 3. So he has a total of 8 dice for activating this. Let's see how it goes for him. He got 6 successes. So what that means, every round, he can divide that pool any way he wants between any of his combat dice pools. Attack, damage, soak, and even other combat cantrip rolls. It'll refresh the beginning of each round, but he'll lose 1 die from its total until the cantrip burns itself out. So, the first turn is just the two of you pumping yourselves up in various ways. The referee from House Fiona is saying, I told the two of you to fight, not just stand there. People are booing. They want to see something happen. They don't get the magic, except for the few off from the sidelines who are like, oh yes, so very interesting. The technique, the build-up, the preparation that they're doing. How are Elris and Thesania reacting to this?
I'm going to say that Elris is cheering in one breath for Lucas, and then the next for the House of Luna now he stepped into the ring. She's doing a little half and half, you know?
And Thesania?
Cassandra is just cheering for the violence.
You monster.
That's your mother's influence right there, young lady.
Alright, we go on to round 2. Now, I could call for a reroll of initiative, but I think you've got such a good pool, he's got such a penalty, and we've got so little time that we're just going to skip that and get straight into the second of 3 rounds. He is just going in for an attack. He is relying upon his tripping the ire to add 6 dice to his attack roll, making it more likely that he is going to hit you, despite how much he is slowed down by all of his gear. He's just going all out for a simple, let me crush this person and end it quickly. He is not spending anything for defense. You are all hopped up. You have an extra 7 actions for a total of 8. What are you going to do?
Okay, so my first of the 8 actions, oh Jesus. I am also going to use Dragon's Ire. I'm going to use Confounding Coils just to raise my the difficulty to hit me with.
Okay, so you're going to be using one of your free actions on that, I assume.
Yeah, and then the rest of these are going to be beating the shit out of them.
Okay, so do you also want to take a defensive maneuver to reduce the odds that he hits you?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay, so you're going to be spending 1 to activate Dragon's Ire, 1 to activate a defensive maneuver, which I'm guessing is dodge, and the other 6 actions are just beating the absolute crap out of him.
Yep.
Okay, well, he does not make a defense roll against any of those. However, because he is using a metal shield to defend himself, You do have a higher difficulty to hit him. You increase the difficulty by 2.
Okay. I'll roll my cantrip first just to get my...
Go for it.
This is not a treasure, this is actually me. So I think that's 2 successes, which the way confounding coil works is it lasts for 1 round per success. So for the next 2 rounds, the difficulty to hit me goes up by 2.
All right. Then you're just going to be making a punch, which is Dex plus Brawl, difficulty 6. Only
Okay.
it is increased to difficulty 8 because of the shield. How many dice do you have in your attack pool?
8 with a boxing specialty, so my 10s should count for double.
Sure. Okay, so what I just put in there is a string of commands that have semicolons between them. If you pop that in and just roll that, then it will roll 6 attacks and resolve all of them at once.
Okay, copy, paste.
Best of luck to you.
Ooh.
I have to figure out what his soak pool. Pretty sure his stamina is 5.
So 8 successes, -4 botch, 5, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, we're not going to worry about figuring out whether that -4 was technically an actual botch, but wow. Okay, so you have 5 successful hits, and since he did not declare any defensive maneuvers, those 5 get through. You are going to go ahead and roll the damage for it, which is just strength plus your successes. What is your strength?
3 at the moment. He's let himself go a little since he was a professional.
Okay. I've done up numbers exact same way. So you're going to roll your damage for each of those, and then he's going to roll his soak.
Ooh.
4, 5, 2, 0, 4. And then his soak. Dear God, he has 14 soak.
For each?
That's the way armor works, baby.
God.
He actually does not stop all of these attacks. One of them gets through and does actually inflict harm on him. It is just a single point of bashing, but I'm going to tell you, even that is impressive. So I would love to see you give me a beautiful description of this rain of blows, and the one that actually gets through. Because as you're attacking him, he's just casually moving his shield around while watching your attacks coming in, while also using your blur of assaults to watch you maneuver and ready his sword to come down at the perfect moment. How do you surprise him by actually getting through all of that?
He goes into a boxer stance, and then all of a sudden, like the flash from television, just rushes in and just starts pummeling him. Bam, 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 bam. And it's almost deafening because all you hear is the banging of his knuckle duster against metal armor. Bang, bang, bang. Until eventually that last one strike, the fangs on his knuckle duster actually manages to pierce right through a weak spot. You hear him as he pulls it out, and there's actually blood on the fangs of the knuckle duster.
Alexander registers a look of surprise, but this does not stop him from bringing his sword down to see whether he can equal the blow that you've just done him. So I'm going to make my attack roll.
And
yes,
because I'm using the knuckle dusters, it's lethal damage.
I am keeping that in mind as part of the description here. People are shocked to see if there's actual blood being drawn. Okay, he has a base pool of 8, again, reduced down to 5 because of all the gear that he is carrying. He is wielding a great sword one-handed, which should not be possible, but hey, sometimes you do something cool and hope your players roll with it. He is a gigantic troll with strength 7, and he is going to be rolling 5 dice, and he is going to spend all 6 dice to bring that up to 11. Now, you've activated the coils, which increases the difficulty by 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That is against a difficulty of 7 for him now. So I attack first, and then if I connect, then you get to activate your defensive maneuver. And he does double 10s on this. I have to keep that in mind. 11 dice coming your way. That is 4 successes, even against difficulty 7.
Okay.
Let me see your dodge maneuver. That is dexterity plus athletics against a difficulty of 6.
So 1, 2, 3.
Alright, so this is strength plus 6 lethal. So his strength is 7, obviously. Gigantic troll.
Yeah.
So that is going to be 13 dice I am rolling on you. Fortunately, you will be able to soak this. All this is coming through as chimerical. That is 5 successes. Roll your soak, which by default is just stamina.
So I am also wearing a little bit of armor, so I think that gives me...
That's right, you're Kevlar.
It just gives me plus 2 dice.
Okay, so stamina plus 2 dice.
However, I have the animalistic favor merit. This is why my skin is so rhino hide-like, and that actually lowers the diff on soak rolls by a -1. So my diff for soak rolls is 5.
That's really good.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, so you strike him for a point of lethal. Where did you get him through his armor? Because this is full sheep plate. It should be covering him head to toe.
He probably came in and managed to get those fangs right in between the gap between the two pieces of armor on his side.
Okay, so there's a devastating blow that Elris and Thessania see as the knuckle dusters connect right in the ribs in a small space on the plate. And then the blade comes down, striking the Cluricon. What does this strike look like when it actually connects with you? This is a mighty blow that you've dodged the worst of, and also just straight up soaked so much of it, which is incredible. So you describe to me what this looks like.
So he gets that punch in, and then this guy brings his sword down, and there's a moment where everyone's like, oh, this guy's dead. And the sword goes down, and he's standing there, his suit ripped open, revealing his absolutely ripped body.
Nice.
Because he has the blessing of Atlas merit. He is sculpted like Adonis himself.
Just pecs erupting forth from it.
You don't know how a 12-pack is possible, but apparently it is.
Some people fan themselves, other people faint.
And the cut, which you would thought were expecting to be this massive gushing thing, as if you were watching a Quentin Tarantino movie, is barely more than a simple little knife wound across his chest. And he stands there just smiling, the most vicious smile you've ever seen. You realize you're not seeing a butler right now. You're seeing a Cluricon who loves a good fight, and he's loving every second of this.
I love that description. The two of them tear into each other for, narratively, for another couple of boxing rounds as they are going at each other and having a thrill. Two people who are so used to being either unhurtable or untouchable, enjoying a perfectly matched sparring fight while the audience is cheering the whole time.
I also have the increased pain tolerance merit, so...
Elris and Thessania, let's head back over to the two of you and see how you're reacting. Luminia and Radamanthus and Boleros are enthralled by the violence on display. The three of them are even talking to each other after some time, comparing how the two fighters are doing, but also remembering fights that they used to have and how they've taught these techniques to them before and things that they've fought that were as tough as either one of them. What do the two of you do?
Well, I think she probably lets them talk until they start realizing, oh, wait, they're supposed to be enemies, and then step in from there.
Okay, so you'll be stepping in when they start to realize that. And Elris, what are you doing?
I think Elris is going to try a slightly different tact. He's going to lean on that reminiscence of remember when we used to engage in epic adventures and battles that thrilled and amazed like that. We got to test ourselves out, and there's the old expression that in the fires of those memories, the older maid young again for a moment, and Ellers is just going to just gently say, well, why can't you again? You're probably more capable today than you've ever been. You just need the right cause, the right quest.
As you're saying that, it's just at the time when the three of them are starting to argue, Lavinia barks out a laugh, saying, as if I would ever journey with these two again.
Why not, actually? The three seem to have a good time. Certainly they have a lot of memories together.
Darling, it's been years, and I have no care or concern for either of them. This was all pure bunk for me to get what I wanted in the first place. Yes, Radamanthus says, you've been conniving, tricked us from the very beginning. Every single thing that you've done was a cruelty.
Was it really? Is she any different from, when she was adventuring with you two? Or is it just because she's just Italian?
Her actions certainly have been inexcusable for someone who was supposed to be one of my oldest friends. Radamanthus, who is just slightly intoxicated, says to Boleros, yeah, well, you missed your fucking chance. And Lydia goes, yes, Boleros, you really should have tried sooner if you were going to make some sort of move. Times do pass. Boleros goes, you know what, fine, I'm going to call bullshit on this. You did this because you want to seem like you are some evil, conniving bitch. But I see how you look at your kid, and you love her. I left the court because I have no desire to be around any reminder of it, and have fully expected my daughter to come back and follow along in my footsteps. She does take better after me than she does after her father. Marcel comes by at this moment, bringing each one of them their favorite foods from when they were younger, delicious meals. They're munching on them thoughtfully. Luminia says, you do realize, even if I accompany the two of you on some quests, I would simply betray you at the first earliest opportunity.
Is it really betrayal? It's expected at this point.
Boleros laughs and says, figuring out where it comes is half of the fun, but also, I think would be having far too much fun in there for you to be occupied with such things, my dear Luminia. Oh, don't you start. Ramathus goes, she's not your dear Lavinia. I'm the one who got married to her. You know what? You missed your chance, too, with either one of us.
I suppose it's not too late, is it?
My dear daughter, how could it not be too late? We can talk all we want,
You're
but
being very candid about your feelings right now.
I really like both of them. They were just like the best thing, and it was nice being out with the two of them. And Boleros, he's so cute, and Luminia, she's just her mind's just so fun to play with. And I don't mean like play with like just like to her spin out things. And I got to do fun and exciting things and not run a freehold and be responsible for every little thing. Not that I don't love you, honey. I'm just, oh my god. You see both Boleros and Luminia leading. You get the vibe they want to give Radamanthus a hug.
Where are they, by the way?
You are all seated in the front row for this spectacular fight that is going on. Blood is flowing across the arena and out of it as the troll and the Cluricon are tearing at each other with astounding speed and grace.
Well, she kind of looks over at nobody's watching.
Maddie, would you give me a little roll of subterfuge, etiquette, or empathy plus manipulation? I'm going to call this only a difficulty 5. You've gotten them to this point.
Okay, so etiquette, the manipulation, that's 8.
2.
The two of them actually reach and place hands on Radamanthus's shoulders. There's a quiet moment being shared between the three of them. You can even see behind the cold heart of the Silverturtle that something is touching her in this moment. Radamanthus looks relaxed. You see the three of them fully realizing that they want this adventure. Elris and Thesania, what do you do?
At this point, Elris just kind of rolls his eyes, throws his hands up in the air, and says, I keep hearing the words, too late. Too late. Oh, it's too late. Oh, that's past. You're Fae. Past, present, future, they have no meaning to you. They have no hold over your soul. You keep repeating the refrain too late, and it becomes the chorus by which your life is lived. There's always now. While you breathe, there's always time.
What could we possibly go and do, though, that would be exciting or thrilling? They're like trying to think of excuses to not go, but also trying to bait for an excuse to go.
I understand. I know what I gotta do. I need to put a big yellow exclamation point above my head. You're going to get a quest from a wizard. I need you to go to the far dreaming and make a mushroom happy.
They look across the arena where the Torcon is currently jumping around, beating on his opponent, to see the sad mushroom being currently placated by his lord. This great troll reduced to a diminutive size. And Radamanthus says, I do miss the days when Myconius was something of a great fighter. Boyos nods and says, Yes, it's been rather embarrassing. Minia chuckles and says, Oh, the far dreaming. The poor boy must be missing his pride. It would be rather fun to have something to hold over him. She looks at the other two and says, If you dare to trust me for a little while. They nod at each other, and then Radamanthus looks at Thesania and Elris and says, Nobody's looking, right?
I think everyone is. Everyone that matters.
Elris goes, Well, fuck it. How do we get out of here?
Easy. I do what I do best. Pulling out her instruments. I did say that there would be a concert tonight.
I think we're going to epilogue it here with Thesania putting on her concert to distract everybody in the wake of the battle coming to an end, and then Elris ushering the three towards whatever leads out of the burning feather deeper into the dreaming.
Oh, there's definitely a door there. One that even the burning feather hasn't quite mapped out yet.
Okay. Let's start with the epilogues. This is going to be an immediate epilogue and then a long-term epilogue. So the first is just, what do you do to wrap things up? And the second one is, what happens afterwards with your characters? So we're going to go Jay, then Medi, then Elris. This is basically Jay with Lucas finishing the fight, Thesania doing her performance, and Elris guiding the three onto a new journey.
Okay, so the fight is dragging on, and it's brawn versus speed. It's just keeps going and going, and eventually it gets to a point where everyone's like, "Oh shit! If we don't stop them, they're going to kill each other." So they literally have to pull them apart from each other, with Lucas just going wild because this is also what holiday is it?
Midsummer, baby!
They actually have to hold him back like he's a madman until they finally ply him with some wine to calm him down. And then as Thesania's performance is starting, now that he's calmed down a bit, he goes over to the knight he was just fighting and does not take no for an answer. Drags his ass over to the bar and just starts a drinking contest with him. The butler is gone. The Chloricon is running wild right now.
He happily sits at the bar with you, his wounds still bleeding, some bruises on his face, drinking with you, matching you 1-for-1, and maybe, just maybe, flirting with you a little bit.
And maybe he's a little into it.
So, Sanya.
Just bring up like the wildest performance with a good amount of unleashing summer.
Incredible. People are super into it. The satyr girl from Purcell's Tavern is there as well, cheering you on, having a fantastic time, going absolutely wild. She's gathered around with a new group of friends now, and they are all just making out while listening to your music. Everybody seems thoroughly impressed and enraptured by it. There is a beautiful glow of light perfectly illuminating your performance. It's as though you make the flicker fires all the more powerful with every emotional thrum being carried through. And Elris, in this atmosphere of great cheer, people being open about themselves, having a fantastic time, feeling safe, secure, and even hopeful for their future, both Fae and mortal. How do you see these three on to the next journey in their lives?
True to his word, Elris will lead them deeper into the freehold. The burning feather is not his. He's not one of the freeholders, but he's been in it several times, stayed in it. He knows the outline, the rooms. As he guides them away from the party, you can still hear it clearly in the background, but it's a little quieter that it's been, muffled by the walls in the distance. And he's silent as he leads them down several hallways, past a few doors, until finally they're standing before a corridor that none of them can quite seem to recall. The walls almost crystalline, and it ends in an archway. And Ellers just goes, "Well, I think this has Petal's paw marks all over it. Probably tried to make it out of cotton candy or something. If you come across an orchard full of apples, don't eat any of them. They're all quite alive. And also, the boatman is absolutely evil. You should just swim the river. That's really all the advice I can give you, except for one other little thing. Have fun. Seize the moment now. Now is all the time that any of us ever have, my lords and ladies." As they pass through the archway, Radamanthus, Valeros, and even Laminia, maybe it's the dreaming on the other side, maybe it wasn't really one last thing, but they're Wilders again.
Aww.
And then Ellers is going to go find Danny and get some ice cream of his own. Damn it, he wants, yeah, all the other ice cream. He wants ice cream.
You go off to do that. Now we can do a proper epilogue for all three of you and then do stars and wishes. This has been an absolute delight. So tell me what happens in the ensuing hours, days, weeks, or even months. I'll tell you right now, those three are off in the far dreaming for a good long time, taking their time on an adventure in no hurry to return home. In the meantime, everyone is making power plays, trying to claim the throne or do whatnot, because this seems like an opportunity. Some people are distressed, other people are absolutely delighted. For House Tanan and Leonon, this is the best result they could possibly want. But how about the three of you? How do things go from here?
Lucas probably does his best to cover for Beleros, working with the Jaegers and others, tries to, maintain Beleros's position until his return, whether that's feasible or not.
As for the Thesania, she's probably did not prepare for this part and is probably holding down the fort. And in the meantime, no, she's handling, delegating the administration part.
Probably Lucas and Thesania are kind of helping each other out, keeping their patron seats warm for them until their return. And maybe it gives Lucas an excuse to swing by and see a certain troll.
Ooh. I love the idea that your characters got so caught up in putting this together they did not consider the aftermath of it. Perfectly fair.
It's an addiction, just the schemes.
The schemes.
We love that scheming sauce so much we never think about the afterburn.
Elris, take us home.
Every great scheme or plot has to have the schemer who is behind even those schemers, and for Elris, at last it has come to fruition. Thesania, one day in the Freehold, you notice there is a vast amount of construction going on. Trolls, boggans, and building what looks to be a massively elaborate playground. You also see Apollo there with Danny on Elris's other side, and Elris saying, "Back up, High Magus Wizard Lizard. I'm thinking roller coaster."
Oh god, I just realized Lucas is now the one in charge of the Puka Pack.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Valeris just sobbing, "Free! I'm free!" Alright, you've all been amazing, and I appreciate all members of the audience for checking this out with us. Let us do our outros. Go ahead and tell us once again who you are, who you've been playing. If you want to tell anybody about either a personal project that you've been working on or where they might find you on social media, feel free to do that as well. And then stars and wishes. We are going to begin with Medi, then Jay, then go to Elris, and then I will end us.
Many tonight I've been playing Thesania / Agrippina. That's about it. It's been a fun 3 sessions with everyone here.
It has indeed been a delight. Do you have any stars for the group or any wishes for if you were to play again?
Stars for Elris for that dastardly scheme of bringing Apollo back into the Freehold. And star for Fetch just for holding a conversation between 3 NPCs.
It is challenging to flip between 3 characters and make it interesting and want the players to enjoy doing all of that.
And star for Lucas for just being the best butler anyone can ever ask for.
Truly is one hell of a butler.
Why, thank you.
Wishes, I would love to see just the far-reaching consequences of what had transpired. With Thesania end up setting fire to the Freehold in her vendetta against Apollo. We may never know.
There's a lot of wonderfully complicated things that could come out of what has happened in these 3 sessions. I feel like anytime there's something happening in this setting that it's radically changing everything. Jay, would you like to go next?
I'm Jay. I played Lucas Green Esquire, Battle Butler of Baylor. So, star for Medi for managing to navigate all those would-be assassins waiting to murder your mom.
Yeah, you really took a risk jumping in there like that. That could have gone so many ways.
Yeah. Star for Elorus for that moment when you passed him the wand with the poems and love conquers all and all that, and that moment.
Aw, so sweet.
And star for Fetch for what to choose. Petal lost in the hedge maze.
That was adorable. That was cute.
I'm glad I got to reprise that character, even for a moment. If only I had more time. Thank you for letting me bring him back for a cameo. Any other stars or wishes?
I'm good. Over to you, Elris.
Oh my. Well, I am Elris. I have been playing Elris, the Puka wizard, possibly faithful to House of Lunid? Question mark. Really, the best place to find me online, really the only place to find me online, is of course the Changeling the Podcast Discord. But I would also feel remiss if I didn't call out Fetch's own Discord. All the games. Can't recommend it enough. It's a great community, and you will in fact find all the games there. I have found games that I didn't even know exist. But yeah, it's a great place to hang out and find new and old TTRPG hobbies, amongst other things. So, stars and wishes. Star for, I guess I could say Agrippina, for playing the, underestimate the kind of demure innocent princess. That was shrewd, that was cunning. I liked that. And I also like when characters do that. They rely upon the assumptions of others. So that was good, that got me. Star to Lucas for the descriptions of the fight scenes. Combat is not my favorite in TTRPGs, but I do like it when combat is an extension of roleplay. When it doesn't stop just because dice are dropped, you get a description of the fight. So really enjoyed that. It really added meat to the bones of the dice rolls. So
Thank you.
star for fetch. I mean, the whole thing was wonderful, but I want to call out a specific example, and I think that would have to be the description of the freehold of the burning feather, working with and inside and alongside of Jay's description of it. You took something that a player had given you and then added to it and enhanced it, and it was very almost like yes and an improv, and I loved it. I love how the freehold came together. I could practically see it in my mind's eye.
That's one of the reasons I love running these games, these feelings of community. And also, honestly, just getting to really lean into the Pride Month stuff. I wish I had more time so I could do even more of it.
It was amazing. I had so much fun with everyone here. Thank you for having me tag along, and hopefully we will meet again. Maybe that'll be my wish. One day, in the misty recesses of time, we may convene again.
Oh, okay. I've been Fetch, she, her, your storyteller for today. Thank you to all my lovely players. I appreciate the shout out, Elris. Jay, I loved seeing your character be everywhere that he needed to be, but the moment that really stuck with me was when he got really into the fight after the wounds started
Yeah.
happening. Seeing you lean into that rather than worrying about the harm that your character was taking made that thrilling exciting, and it made it more fun and approachable to turn that into a cool narrative thing that happened afterwards. Loved it.
Yeah.
Elris, all the emotional beats we're talking about how it's not too late and you can turn back the clock and reminders of the past, all those, gosh, those are really touching to me. Those hit me in the heart so many times.
Thank you.
And Medi, being both the lovely Agrippina and the cool Thessania, playing both sides of your character's personality, dealing with the heavy vibes of seeing your mother and also dealing with Radamanthus and Valeros and saying things like, hey, nobody's looking at you right now. I just loved how you played into temptation so much. And when the final started, I just love the detail of as they go in, they return to being wilders. I'm like, yes, finally. And I can just imagine what happens from here for the three of them. Wishes, I've said it before, I wish I had more time to go into the Midsummer Festival and the Pride itself and the relationships between all of the characters, both like your NPCs with each other, and I wish I could do a follow-up and show, the quest for Myconius' pride or other stuff in the far dreaming. There's just so many more adventures to do. I've had an absolute blast.
A story for another time.
Story for another time. So thank all of you for playing. Thank you to Changing the Podcast for hosting this actual play. And to our audience, thank you for listening.
Normally these outros include some kind of cheeky comment, but the completion of a chronicle, however short and sweet, is always uplifting and heartwarming enough on its own that, in the opinion of this host, it speaks for itself. Many thanks to Fetch, Jay, Elris, and Medi for participating, and best of luck to the characters as they carry on in their adventures. Other less visible but no less noteworthy participants in the process of this recording include the patrons who support our show, namely Bad Company, Ben the Canadian, Siglosson Jr., Derek, Dorcatus, Elleris, Henry Craft, Ia Bull, Oreo, Raz Caboose, Rebecca P., Sandshaker, Sija, The Crew of Erebus, and Ware Buffalo. As always, our deepest thanks for their generosity, and if you too would like to get such a shout out at the end of each episode, please visit www.patreon.com/changelingthepodcast to sign up. We also appreciate reviews on the podcast listening platform of your greatest convenience, as well as small bundles of trinkets and curiosities delivered to our chimerical postbox. With that, may you find an inspiring quest of your own to lead you forward, boon companions to share it with, and a story worth telling upon your return. But in the meantime, do keep on dreaming.